I know some of you are going to get this story and are going to tell the story the way it was. However, there's going to be others here today who will continue to malign this sheriff and Mike Zullo in order to show that you haven't been wrong for many years while covering this story. All I ask is that you are respectful during the presentation of the information. Here's Sheriff Joe Arpaio.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You know, thank you for showing up. Back in 2011, about 250 members of the surprise Tea Party came to me and asked me to investigate President Obama's birth certificate, since they believed evidence showed that the certificate was a fraud. I agreed to look into the matter, and with Chief Investigator Mike Zullo, we initiated an investigation. At this time, and to this day, I stated that I did not care where the president was born. Had nothing to do with that. But we were going to investigate a possible government forged document. Hope you get that straight. I've been saying that from day one since 2011. Today you will be presented with an in-depth executive summary of our investigation into the matter, which we now have concluded to be a fraudulently created document which has been represented as an official copy of the original birth certificate of President Obama. We and anyone else who dared to question the document have been maligned, falsely labeled, grossly criticized in the bulk of the media on certain internet sources for years. Today, we're going to set the record straight. I believe you will be shocked by what you hear and see today. Also, the implications will be profound. All we have ever wanted was the truth in this matter, with the great hope that the document was indeed a valid representation of the original document. Think of that. We were trying to clear the president. It didn't work out that way. We had to follow the evidence. We let the evidence determine the direction of the investigation. That's what we always do on any investigation. You get the evidence. This one was handled no differently, and no matter what the investigation is about. So now, the important part is to present the pertinent details and the executive summary of our analysis. I'm going to turn this over to Mike Zullo, who dedicated 5 years of his life, 5 years of his life, taking this mission on, which I asked him to do 5 years ago. Mike, come on up and give your thoughts.
Thank you, Sheriff. I want to start by trying to give everyone here, including the media that's been viciously against us from the beginning, an understanding of how I tried to conduct this investigation. I believe in 2012 we did 2 press conferences. In those press conferences, I had made it clear that Sheriff Arpaio's original mandate to me was, Mike, take a look at this, clear this document, because I want to be the guy that clears this document and moves this country forward. This is no good. That was the mandate. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. Like the sheriff just told you, when you conduct criminal investigations, you have to let the evidence lead you. You never lead the evidence. And in doing this, my motive was to clear the document. Because to be quite honest with you, I didn't believe it. I didn't believe this was possible. I didn't think this would ever happen in this nation. I didn't believe it. Back in 2012, I told you about Reed Hayes, a document examiner. Let me tell you about Reed Hayes, a man with 40 years, since 1974, 40 plus years of experience in examining forensic document, handwriting, a man who's well respected in his expertise, a court-recognized expert, a document examiner. He is the man you go to when somebody gives you a bad check with a bad signature. This is the guy you run to. Law firms use him all the time. He's been maligned. And let me tell you something about Mr. Hayes. When I contacted Mr. Hayes told me right off the bat, I'm an Obama supporter. I voted for him twice. He goes, and I will never do anything to hurt the President of the United States. What I had said to him was, Reed, I am not asking you to hurt the President of the United States. I'm asking you to take a look at this document and clear it and tell me there's nothing wrong with it. Would you at least do that? And he took a look at it. And when he called me back, he told me, Mike, I can't clear this. There's something wrong with it. And I asked him, I said, Reed, would you continue? I said, I know your position, but would you continue? And his answer to me was, this is what I do. I'll look at it. I'll do it. That's a man of integrity, respecting what his ability is to get to the truth. Because for Sheriff Arpaio and myself, this was never about Barack Obama. This is about a document. You take that document and you remove the name Barack Hussein Obama and put your name on there. If it was your document and it was brought to us, we would do the same thing with this document. This document was being investigated from the only...
Well, I guess we don't have to take my word for it no more. We definitely have been told by individuals who have definitely been doing their investor search since 2011 that these individuals literally faked their way into the White House, which means all the laws, rules, and regulations and executive orders that these individuals have passed should literally be abolished, and that this individual should literally be in jail for crimes against humanity. Let's not forget way back when Trump literally offered Barry Soetoro $5 million to go to any charity of his choice if he literally showed his real birth certificate, in which he never did. Let's also not forget about Loretta Fudd, the Hawaiian health director, who verified Barry Soetoro's birth certificate and literally transcended in a 2013 plane crash, which was also very interesting, seeing how she was on a plane with other passengers, yet she was the only one to transcend. That was quite interesting as well. It is clear as day that Barry Soetoro was known to be a high CIA agent brought here to literally transform our American Constitution. This individual literally went as far as to place a fraudulent document on a federal website just to prove that he was a United States citizen, in order for him to literally infiltrate our system from the inside out. Is it just me, or could this be a form of treason and espionage? Y'all drop y'all comments down in the comments. I want to actually give a shout out to Joe Arpaio as well, due to the fact that he was placed into jail under false allegations by Barry Soetoro just so he can be silent, due to the fact that he was getting too close to finding out what was really going on. Now it should be very easy for us to understand how Barry Soetoro was put into leadership literally to normalize certain ideologies and agendas, due to the fact that he was not only a corrupt individual, but all the rules, laws, and regulations that was put into play was literally to benefit him and his husband, Michael LaVaughn Robinson. Let's also not forget that the Barry Soetoro administration in its final year in office spent a record $36.2 million on legal costs defending its refusal to turn over federal records under the Freedom of Information Act, y'all. Let's also not forget that the Barry administration itself engaged in the wholesale destruction and loss of tens of thousands of government records covered under the act, as well as the intentional evasion of the government record recording system by engaging in private email exchanges. But wait, there's more. Didn't Barry Soetoro sign the Executive Order 13489? We're gonna let y'all sit on that one for a minute. We ain't gonna do too much. We understand that clear eyes always recognize real lies, and like always, I'm always gonna have more videos. And with that being said, proper preparation prevents poor performance. You have to understand that a wise man could play a fool, but a fool could never play a wise man. We have to do our proper investor search in order to understand what's really going on behind these closed doors. And like always, if you're functional with me, hit that like button, drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below, and I would love to hear what you got to say. That part. As I always like to express in all my other videos, I am not here to turn non-believers into believers. I'm only here to bring y'all food for thought. And with that being said, your opinion is your opinion.
Birth certificate, Candy, and people are trying to figure out why isn't he giving his birth certificate. It's not a birth certificate, a certificate of live birth, and you can see that one that you have and the one that I brought you, because that's the one that's on the internet and all over the place. It doesn't even have a serial number. It doesn't have a signature. It doesn't have a signature. One that I saw on television has a stamp, but that's not a signature.
Right, but that's how they
Excuse me, but that's not the one that they were showing to everybody. And I just say very simply, why doesn't he show his birth certificate? Why has he spent over $2 million in legal fees to keep this quiet and to keep this silent? When I listened today to the tape of the grandmother, and she was saying he was born essentially in Kenya, and then all of a sudden, don't forget, this is when Barack Obama was hot as a pistol because it looked like he was going to get the nomination, and they had a lot of people, a lot of handlers in there, and all of a sudden you hear people all over the room, no, he was born in Hawaii, he was born in Hawaii. But she didn't say that.
It was a misinterpretation.
They drowned her out. She was like, there were a lot of people in that room, and she said, Kenya, he was born right here, and then they started saying, screaming, no, you mean Hawaii, you mean Hawaii. There's a lot of crazy things. Look, I don't like to talk about this issue too much because I really would rather talk about China. I would really rather talk about what OPEC is doing to destroy us. I would really rather talk about other things. But I'll be honest with you. I started this and I heard the question for the first time 4 weeks ago. And I assumed, although I had heard about it for years, I assumed that he was born in the United States, meaning in Hawaii. I assumed that. The more I go into it,
It's pretty difficult, let's face it. I felt like this was going to be a very hard life for both of them.
It was an unraveling mystery. It was kind of a distraction tactic. It's like you took them one way and...
Michael and I also want to acknowledge...
I mean, this dude is a genius.